What this is really about for you today is about getting started with one offer and the necessary infrastructure in place to simplify your business systems so you can spend more time on discovery calls. You can spend more time getting to know people, finding clients, meeting clients, and actually doing the work of helping clients. So, for those of you who have been in business a while, I want to recommend that you look at this through a lens of what offers do you maybe need to remove? What offers do you need to refine or simplify? I did this myself back in August, and the past 7, 8 months since then has been a game changer for my business. It has been absolutely life changing. So, a little bit about me, I'm a decluttering and a life coach. I did start in 2016. I transitioned from professional organizing to coaching coming out of the pandemic for obvious reasons. And I help overwhelmed women to live an intentional life with intentional decluttering. So we declutter their home and their life. So I don't have slides today, but if you've got a notebook, take that out, grab a pen. I've got 5 steps for you that you might want to write down. I'm happy to tell you about those at the end. I'll recap them as well. So let's start with step one. If you are just getting started, what I want you to know is you don't need to do it all. You just need to start. So, something I say to my clients is I say, simply start, simply get in action and get into motion. If you don't have a website, you don't need one. If you don't have 10 offers, that's a really good thing. What you need is clarity and a confident next step or a confident first step if you are just coming into business. Maybe it's a Facebook post that says, hey, I'm a professional organizer. Maybe it's changing your LinkedIn profile. Let's get out of imposter syndrome. Stop worrying about what your corporate colleagues might think about you. Change that LinkedIn profile. Maybe it's sending an email to friends and family. Maybe it's taking your website out of maintenance mode and turning it on and saying, yep, here I am, world. I'm actually doing this. I want to kind of have you embrace and normalize the idea of starting small. This is all about momentum. It's not about perfection. We compare ourselves to influencers and successful people online. They started with one client and they started small. And so I want to normalize that for you. Okay, so step two, set your pricing so that you feel good about it and you don't resent the work because your energy will change if you don't feel good about your pricing. So, step two is simplify your offer and start with one offer that solves one problem. You can't serve everyone. You have to focus on one offer with a clear message that's really easy to sell. Start with something that you know you can deliver confidently. So maybe it's a virtual closet clean out. Maybe it's a 4-hour in-home session. What is it that you do and you do well? What's your one offer that you do really well and lean into that? Step three, boundaries are your friend. Boundaries are a business tool. We need boundaries in our business. We need boundaries in our calendar. Our clients need boundaries in this space. And remember that no is a complete sentence. So years ago, when I was doing professional organizing before I switched over to coaching, I took clients any day they ask. I usually said no to Sundays, but I can't promise you that I didn't take a client on a Sunday. And every time I woke up on a Saturday morning needing to go to a client's house, I resented it. My son was home from school, my husband was off work, and I did not want to go anywhere. So if you haven't already set your work hours, set them and stick to them. Decide what you will and won't take on now because your energy will be better. Your energy will be better, and it's going to show in your client work that you're excited to be there. Your brain isn't somewhere else on a Saturday morning. And so with that notebook that you've got sitting there, I want to encourage you to write out your non-negotiables. I will not work on Sundays. I will not work past 4 o'clock. I will block my calendar for the following holidays. Like, what are your non-negotiables? And then write out your ideal week and your ideal availability before you get booked. So as a coach, I coach clients on Tuesdays and Thursdays. and my client roster is close to being full. When it is full, I'm going to make a decision about maybe opening up Wednesdays, or I may not. I use Mondays and Fridays for travel because that's what serves me and my family right now. We have aging parents in another location, and I like those days as flex days. So I use them to catch up around the house. I will occasionally say, yeah, I've got the bandwidth to take a couple of discovery calls on a Friday, and I will do that, but I get to choose. And I'm excited about it, and I'm not resentful because someone grabbed time on my calendar on a Friday. All right, step 4. A simple contract means less drama and more trust in your business. Yes, there are things you have to put in a contract. It's about setting some clear expectations and also showing leadership. You're showing them that you're the expert, that you know. Our clients want to be led by us. They've hired a professional organizer. They expect you to be organized. They expect you to have organized business processes. So, a simple contract that talks about scope, time, payment, how to pay you, payment terms, an expiration clause. If you sell a multi session package, I beg of you to have an expiration clause on your sessions because you will need it. A cancellation policy. What's your cancellation and rescheduling policy? Years ago, and this is even, I want to foot stomp this a little bit. Even if you're just getting started with taking clients, you want to especially do this with early clients and with friends because you're going to learn where you need to have different expectations, where your contract is too loose, where it needs to be tighter. You're going to learn with those early clients. I learned that when I was working with a friend and he bought a 3-session package, and I thought I didn't need the expiration clause. 3 years later, he finally cashed in on the last 2 sessions. And because of my integrity around my contract, I made good on those. My prices had gone up significantly in those 3 years. So it was not fair to me, but I did it. So learn from my mistake and do not do that. Make sure you have an expiration clause. It can be 6 months, it can be a year, whatever you're comfortable with, but just make sure there's a date so that when someone has not scheduled with you, because this will happen, you can feel good about the effort that you made to get them on your calendar and deliver the work. And so I just foot stomping that a lot. That's my soapbox, and I'll try to move on from that one. But trust grows when you have these boundaries and your expectations are clear. So one of the things that I would do is I would confirm 48 hours ahead of time that I was coming, and I would ask when their kids left for school. And if they said 8:30, I would say, great, I'll be there about 9 o'clock. I'll arrive with my coffee and my water bottle, and I'm going to have a really good breakfast. I recommend you do the same thing. Also, plan what you're going to have for lunch. You don't want them running out to Chick-fil-A in the middle of your session, and you want them prepared and ready. They like being led. That's why they're hiring a professional. And I would let them know, hey, around 1 o'clock, I'll probably take like a 20-minute break. I'll go sit in my car and catch up on some emails and text messages and give you a little break from me. I'll come back in and dive right back in. You don't have to join me right away. You can take a longer lunch break. About 3 o'clock, there's an alarm that's going to go off on my phone. We'll figure out what the final steps are for us to wrap up, and we'll load all the donations in my car. It's crystal clear. They know exactly how the day is going to go. And I also would ask things like, do you have a hard stop? Oh, yeah, I have to take Susie to the dentist. Great. When does she go to the dentist? 5 o'clock. I'll make sure I'm out of here no later than 4:15. And just setting those expectations shows a level of professionalism and that you truly are the person to lead them and to help them get organized. Because after all, that's what our clients want. Okay, so last point that I have for you is point number 5. And this is more about the infrastructure of your business and about delivering that one fantastically fabulous offer that you have. And that is, you're going to have to market that offer somewhere. And you cannot build your business on social media alone. Some of you might be saying, I don't want to build it on social media at all. And that's completely fine. But you do need a place where you can capture your current clients, your past clients, and your future clients. And that is with an email list. More consumers around the world have made a purchase from an email than any other marketing channel tested. So show of hands, Does anyone have an email in their inbox from a company that you are staying on their list because you know someday they're going to issue you a coupon or a semi-annual sale? Does anybody stay on an email list like that? Show of hands. Just me? Okay. So most often people go back into their email when they're ready to make a purchase. They think, oh, that Amy lady, I think she's got something for me. And they go search their inbox. And you want to be that person, you want to be top of mind. So an email list you own, it is the greatest asset in my business. Start one, start small, start yesterday, start this afternoon, just start one. I have a system that I use, I love. It used to be called ConvertKit, it's now Kit, and love Nathan Barry, who is the CEO, but it is just such a user-friendly platform. I've been using it since before they had a free version. They now have a free version. You could get started with something as simple as Google Form, but eventually your list will be too large. You can't do those long distribution BCC emails because you'll get in trouble. It's actually not legal. It's not a legal way of communicating, and it will end up in spam. So your emails won't get to the people you want them to get to anyhow. I have a coaching client of mine. She's been on my email list since 2017. And she lives in Houston and I live near Washington, D.C. And I had nothing for her to buy for years. But she liked my style. She liked what I had to say. And when I started my coaching program, I had something for her to buy and she bought. And she's been a coaching client of mine for a couple of years now. So you just never know where your business is going to go in the future. And you don't always know what that lead time is going to be on sales. I will recap real quick. So simply start small, start somewhere. Just what's your first next step? What's your best next step? Step number 2, have one offer that you can confidently talk about. I have a one-on-one coaching program that I deliver via Zoom. I help overwhelmed women to declutter their lives and their home. Bam, I have one offer. Number 3, business boundaries. What are your non-negotiables? Number 4, a simple but professional contract with clear expectations. And then number 5, you need an email list. You can't go it on social alone. So if that is helpful, I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the chat. I use a system called Calendly. It's also free. It's something you might want to adopt in your business. And I'd be happy to chat with you. We can pitch and catch the ideas you have. We can simplify your offer stack and we can talk through pricing if that is helpful.